has globalization impact countries all over the world? GP Team Project Outcome from Emily, Maria, Naomi, Sharon, and Sherry. In recent years, with the rapid development of worldwide economy and booming communication of culture, global countries are getting closer and closer together. However, because of the widespread of the pandemic, COVID-19, restarting wars, and shortage of some natural resources like fossil fuel, globalization has become an internationally popular topic again. So, what exactly is globalization? Economic globalization refers to the formation of world economic activities beyond national boundaries, through foreign trade, capital flow, technology transfer, service provision, interdependence, and interconnection. What's the impact of globalization on China? Here is the GDP change of China since 1970. And according to the Chinese government, economic globalization provides a good opportunity for accelerating China's economic development. Economic globalization has created conditions for making full use of foreign capital, technology, resources, and markets, provided new opportunities for the optimization and upgrading of China's economic structure, created a large number of new jobs for China, provided an important way for China to implement its latecomer advantage and narrow the gap with developed countries, and helps solve the problem of insufficient impetus for reform and development. On the other hand, economic globalization has brought severe challenges to China. Economic globalization may weaken national sovereignty and threaten national economic security, which will pose new challenges to the Chinese government, increase social insecurity in China, make China face the problem of a large brain drain, and intensify the pressure on employment in China. Then, how about its impact on Suzhou and indigenous people? We carried out interviews and questionnaire in Suzhou to investigate this issue. Let's see some of their answers.
76岁。
那俺是个起居户，就是公我就是公我的没到工作的。
没有。
那你都俺是甚至说如果你经过我个企业上班。
不我过去的。
你我离俺有没到工作的没有？
明白。
那你我离俺有我个企业上班。
啥了？
我过去
明白。
那你是苏州本地人吗？
不是。
那你来苏州几年了？
那是11年了好像。
那你今年多大了呀？
我今年12了。
哦，那你了解全球化吗？
不了解。
全球化它就是国外与国内的信息相通以及商品相通。像美国的经济危机会导致全球的股票下降，你认为经济全球化是一件好的事？
From the 201 samples of answer, approximately 83% of them know about globalization, while only about 1/3 of them know globalization well. And according to their answers, the impacts that globalization bring to them most is cultural diversity, diversity of goods and items, and ability to purchase. Then, how about the global perspective on the impacts of globalization on indigenous people? Let's see some of our interviews.
I was born in the United States.
I'm from the United States.
Okay, globalization in the United States has really many facets or factors. For example, my home state of Washington State, one of its main products is apples. And historically, we would ship apples all over the world because our apples are really delicious and it's the main, maybe one of the main producer for the United States. And indeed, I could even buy them in China. Maybe you can now today. I'm not sure about now, but a few years ago, I remember I could see apples with the Washington sticker here in China. However, there are pros and cons. So other countries have come in and like observed the apple trade of our state and copied it. So I think that actually cut into the export business of this industry. But there's pluses and minuses to everything. So
I'll give you just a quick example of globalization. When I was a child, so one of the effects of globalization is, the fact that you guys have to learn English, right? Because English is the global business language. So people in China decided, well, we should teach English to our students. But when I was growing up, our schools were teaching us French because French was the global business language. And so, things change. So it's not impossible that in some future Mandarin will be the global language of business. So
it definitely has impact on my life. For example, here in our center where you're studying and I'm teaching, we're here in China. I am an American working in China, working for a British curriculum. So all of our materials and the program is based on the UK's Cambridge International Education Program. So you can see globalization at work right here every day.
But so I mean, it's both good and bad. So America is like its own country and it's got its own history. But the thing is that America actively seeks for immigrants. It may not seem like it at the moment, but the country is a country of immigrants. So there's people from all over the world. And so globalization has helped that in some ways, right? So people now more people have freedom of movement, and so some decide we want to live in America and they can do so, right? They go through the proper channels, immigration channels, and so that's one good thing. I personally feel that diversity in our country makes us stronger, right? Of course, other people disagree with that sentiment. So, but in America, we're free not to, we don't have to agree with everyone, right? So, on the negative side, we've lost a lot of manufacturing, right? So, when other economic markets like China and Asia and India opened up to the West, so we lost businesses. The businesses left our country, and so people lost jobs, and so the economic conditions of the country deteriorated a little. So we sort of maintained our competitiveness in the technology sector. And I think that's why you see a lot of heated discussions about the future and technology, et cetera, et cetera. So it's been both good and bad, but I mean, anything in the world is it always has good consequences and bad consequences. But we embrace them and we move forward.
In short, globalization, as a new state of economic development in today's world, has become an irreversible trend of global development and an unstoppable historical trend. It can promote the development of cultural exchange and economy, but also lead to the shift of economic center and the transmission of virus. So for people around the world, globalization brings both opportunities and risks.